would pray for Dad to come back to the church.
How can he not believe anymore? He's breaking his promise to me, to God.
I would say, please, please, please bless that Daddy will come back to the church.
What happens if I don't believe anymore? Is she still going to love me the way I am?
But now I kind of feel like me and him have a better connection now that he's not in the church.
I wish this wasn't happening.
2, 1.
Today, Neal and I are going to talk a little...
Wait, no, you got to say welcome to Unequally Yoked.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Welcome to Unequally Yoked. Today we're going to talk a little bit about supporting...
No, you got to give our names, too. Hello, welcome to Unequally Yoked. I'm Naomi, Neal Winters, and I'm sitting with Neal Winters.
Go ahead, say it.
No, you can do it. You just need to do it right.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Welcome to Unequally Yoked with Neal and Naomi Winters.
Hello.
Hi. Today we're going to... Why did I say hi? Today...
Because you said it to me. We wanted to, be cordial with each other because we're going to fight this time.
You said hello.
Oh.
Anyway, this time we're going to talk a little bit about supporting each other in activities that really drive us nuts or that we may disagree with. And, I don't know, maybe to lead into it, which kind of fits but doesn't. Last podcast, we spoke a little bit about
honesty.
We spoke a little bit about Neal's leaving of the church and his whole road and experience. And one of the things that came up was being honest about where you were at in your journey.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had no idea, like you had this whole different life. It was this double life you were living. So anyway, within that context and conversation, Neal talking about honesty felt like I gave him a really hard time about being forthright about all things and disclosing everything. So he had some feelings. Why don't you go ahead and share?
I edited the podcast today, and there were parts I took out that were not included that talked where you mumbled under your breath about how dishonest I was and how that made you feel. And I started getting angry, to be honest. I mean, it's like we to you, honesty is paramount, right? And yet, when I look at what the church has done in its practices, just a sec.
Silent.
Guys.
Our microphones are picking up everything.
Not in here. Okay?
Did you need something? Yeah, we're going to be recording for a little bit, okay?
Okay. Back to the story. I was editing today. There were several instances where you mumbled under your breath about how I was so dishonest. Oh, well, not several. Enough. Where you mumbled under your breath about how dishonest I was. And when I was listening to it at the time, I was like, when we were recording, I was like, okay, I can see where she's coming from. And I still appreciate where you're coming from. But I gotta say, I kind of feel like crap when I hear you talk about that, and then when I superimpose that on top of the church and what I view as very, very dishonest and disingenuous practices that it continues to perpetuate to its membership and to you and to my kids all the time. And it's hard when I see my spouse holding her religion to a different standard than what she holds me.
So you see the church as dishonest, not only in its history and past, but right now.
Yes.
And that's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, how would it make you feel?
Oh, I'm putting myself in your shoes,
Yeah.
and I'd be upset, and I'd probably feel a little bit like I thought that the religion was more important than me.
Yes.
That the other spouse was feeling that way. Okay. Yeah. That sucks.
It really sucks.
What can I do about that? I mean, it's not like I can change my opinion of the church, and I will admit wholeheartedly there are many things I feel like they were dishonest about.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I guess the way it makes sense in my head, and this just might not sit right with you. So I don't know if this will lessen the blow at all. I have no idea. But to me, your relationship with me is very different than my relationship with the church. We're on a very personal, interpersonal relationship. And that combined with in the church, I believe the gospel and the teachings. There are things that have happened in the past. There are things that they're not forthright, I'm sure, with, logistics and the religion. Not necessarily the gospel, but the religion.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, because of the relationship a person with their church, that's good enough for me. I don't feel like I have to. I certainly don't excuse it.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't feel betrayed by the thing that keeps me going, which is the doctrine.
Okay.
Not the imperfect church and the people that are in it.
So this is what happens when you try and record with kids awake. We want to get sleep, but they like to interrupt us. Anywho.
I don't know if that helps or makes it better.
I don't know.
What does that make you feel?
Well, there's a couple issues. Number one, you go to the temple, right? And you make covenants in the temple to follow the church, to sacrifice everything for the church if that's required of you.
For the building up of Zion.
For the building up of the kingdom of God and for the betterment of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The church is named specifically in that.
If I don't feel
covenant.
like they're building up the kingdom of God or establishing Zion, I don't feel obligated to follow them. I don't feel like I would be breaking my covenant if I felt like they were at odds with that. Because to me, it's saying, I will follow this only if they are following it.
Okay.
So that's how it's different.
Okay.
But I don't want to say that anything I said negates what you're feeling. I don't want you to feel that way.
Yeah,
I don't want to make you feel that way.
I mean, the thing is there are specific things that they lie about and that they rewrite history about that I see as very, very damaging things.
Yeah.
The biggest one that comes to mind is blacks in the priesthood, and there are a recent essay about that where when I read it, I see them lying and obfuscating and rewriting history to the point where what the church really taught compared to what it says it taught are two completely different things.
Yeah.
And they take a lot of, and in this day of a lot of information being available, where you can go out and corroborate what really happened and compared to what the history claims happened, and you can validate that they're lying. That's where I get hung up on. I just history. I've said this before. History is important, and when you can't be honest about your past, what are you hiding about where you're at currently.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah. The first thing I would say to that is there are plenty of historians that would go and look at things and see what you're calling a lie or truth in a different light.
Well, either Joseph Smith used a stone and a hat or he didn't. And all the artwork of the church shows him holding plates in front of him.
That doesn't mean he didn't sometimes.
Not according to every record that's out there.
Anyway, we're getting into debating, which is what we don't want the show to be on. What I was going to say was that...
What?
Besides the historian thing, I look at the doctrine, and my belief is each time I'm taught something not about history or what the organization of the church has done, but I'm taught something about what Christ has taught us or what he wants us to do, or
the good parts.
Yeah, that stuff. I pray about that, and I believe I receive answers straight from heaven to me. I don't have to have a stepping stone between that communication. And so anytime a prophet speaks, anytime I'm taught a doctrine at church, I accept it only and if I feel through the Spirit a confirmation that that is the truth.
So what do you do if you don't believe it? And what is it? What is considered doctrine? Is it anything that's in conference, or is it stuff that prophets have said at BYU?
And is this pertinent to our podcast? Is this the
No,
point
I want to
of
know.
it? Is this the point of it?
It's
though?
not the point of the podcast, but I want to understand what doctrine is to you.
Still working all of it out.
Okay.
Is that a fair enough answer?
That's fine. I want to be at least a little real and express that there are emotions behind us and that we're not always just happy-go-lucky seeing things from each other's perspectives. That would be a lot easier if we were, but
weren't we? Oh,
but there are real emotions, and
Yeah,
I get angry. I still get angry. I try not to, but I still do. And
me.
Yeah, and you.
I mostly get hurt.
I just get mad.
You just get mad.
So we have got...
But in my defense, people, there are honesty things not about the church, okay? Like, that wasn't...
No.
I'm really not a horrible person.
You're not a horrible person.
Ripping on you.
No, you're not. Those things just got to me today.
Yeah, well, and I certainly understand why. But, Okay, so moving on from that, when you really don't understand what's... you're not able to come to a compromise. Basically, That's how we are. We're going to disagree, and we're not going to be able to support each other in that.
No.
And we've talked a little bit about this before, and so we kind of leave it and try to focus on other things instead of letting our feelings about those particular things overwhelm us. I guess it's like, when you get thinking negatively about your spouse or friend or family member, and you go, okay, wait, but there are good things too, and you start playing those over. So that's what we try to do for each other when that happens, and try to let it lie. And try is the operative word here, people.
Yeah, it's true. We're not always successful.
No.
We went to a dinner when I first kind of came out of the closet, so to speak, with some ex-Mormon friends, mixed faith marriage friends, and one marriage that was totally out. And half the night turned into a rip session.
Oh my gosh.
On the church. So it's difficult.
And the people who were in the church didn't really fight back too much.
No, you guys didn't.
Did you notice that?
You just took it.
We took it.
You don't have the anger issues that we do.
I do.
You do?
Oh, I do. For different reasons.
Okay.
You just don't.
You get mad?
You don't hear about it because I've been told that anger is a secondary emotion, that's not really what the first emotion is.
What's the first emotion that you feel?
Well, you have to identify that. And usually what it is for me when I'm angry is I feel hurt or I feel a loss, like I need to mourn something or I don't know. But for me, it's over things like what we just talked about, over things not being fair, and life's not fair.
So are you saying, like, it's not fair that I get to be mad, I get to go do all these things to work out my anger, and you're stuck at home with the kids?
Sometimes. That's one of the things. But in the beginning, I was also so angry and hurt and all sorts of emotions, but really angry for a while about that you had promised me these things, that we had made covenants together, that we had a plan about us being married and what that looked like, where that was going to go, where we were headed, these common goals and beliefs that we had, and that now you're going back on it. You're just totally breaking that and saying, take it or leave it, deal with it. And I was just like, that, how can you do that? How can you do that to me? And I was so angry.
Do you still feel that way?
Sometimes. But the more that I went through the process, the more I realized I was just super sad that I was losing that was no longer in the picture. And that what I was really feeling was this need to mourn the loss of that fairy tale picture.
Right.
And so I try not to go back to that place because it's not a fun place to be when you're pissed. But anyway.
Do you ruminate on it ever?
I try really hard not to. But
you do sometimes.
It was a lot harder in the beginning.
Not so much anymore. So now, obviously, you know that I have come to a point where I feel like it's not much of a choice to believe what I do. I can't make myself believe in the church anymore. Mm-hmm. And frankly, I don't want to because I think it's a pile of turd. But
thank you for your G-ratedness.
Yeah. But I'm at a point where I just can't. So, like, how do you deal with that? Are you like, you're a scum-sucking pig because you don't believe in the church?
Every day, I just think you're an awful scum-sucking pig. No, I don't know how I deal with that. I wake up in the morning and I try to make it second to second and breathe in and breathe out. And I focus on what I do know. And what I do know is that we've created a lot of life together. Mm-hmm. And when I picture myself old and in a rocking chair, the person I see next to me is you.
Even though I don't have the priesthood and I can't take you to the celestial kingdom anymore.
Yeah. I see you with a drink in your hand or a cigar or, whatever it is. And you treat me good.
Oh, no, I treat you well.
You treat me well. You treat me right.
Grammar Nazis.
I knew it was wrong when I said it, but it seemed like...
It's genuine.
It's genuine. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with us? We're on one. Okay.
Well, I've had a little bit to drink tonight, so...
A little.
Go ahead. So anyway, you picture me in my sexy chair, rocking with a cigar in my mouth and a Jameson in my hand.
I'm hoping that you don't have the Jameson and the cigar, at least the cigar, but a beer. An old guy with a gut and a beer. Yeah, that's what I see you. But you treat me like I'm a queen. And you communicate the same way that I communicate, which is huge for me. I've never been able to find a male person that does that. I had a female friend that did that and a mom, but I mean, I get treated like a queen and you take care of our family, you take care of our home, and you make me feel good about myself. And I think at this point in my life, how would I change all of that history? How can I walk away from 5 kids and their dad and this whole situation that we have going on? It'd be different if we were just dating and there wasn't all that history and there wasn't all us. We'd probably go, oh, you know what? We want different things out of life, and we'd part our ways, even though we got along really well. But that's not where we're at right now. We're
invested.
We lived a life. We have intertwined, and it's like when you get married, the two shall be twain as one, or whatever. We have become very intermeshed, where we're not just separate people anymore.
But in the long-term eternal perspective,
I don't know what the heck's going on.
You're screwed.
No. I mean, we're told if we keep our covenants, no blessing will be withheld. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like.
Does that scare you?
It used to terrify me.
Now, how do you feel about it?
I suppose sometimes it still terrifies me.
Do you try not to think about it?
Yeah. And I mean, let's face it, really, I'm not ever going to be able to let go that maybe someday you'll change your mind, that you'll come back. I mean, do you feel that way about me? Maybe I'll change my mind and see it your way?
Well, what do you think? Of course I do.
So there's always that possibility. I'm like, well, eternity's a long time. And who knows what kind of ability I'll have because we're married and because I kept promises or whatever, to be able to go into the depths of hell and rescue you if I have
What if I like it in hell, though? That's the problem.
That is really scary to me.
Because let's play Jesus' advocate here.
You're the advocate?
Well, I'm actually the devil's advocate.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
Jesus's. So, according to, there's the telestial, terrestrial, and celestial kingdom. And I like to assume that we'll have our sex organs no matter what kingdom we're in.
Okay.
That may or may not be the case. But
these are kingdoms of glory.
Of glory, yeah. So we're still going to want to have sex.
Yeah, okay.
Sex is a normal part of human experience. So let's assume that we keep our sex organs. I can go to the celestial kingdom where I'm expected to be perfect, expected to toe the line no matter what I'm told, where I basically give up my ability to choose because I have to, whatever choice is presented to me, I have to make the perfect choice every time. Or option B is to go to the telestial or the terrestrial kingdom where I can drink, where I can have sex, where I can have fun, not have to worry about kids all the time. Which option sounds better to you?
That's not how I see the kingdoms.
That's how I see them.
At all.
And I think the terrestrial and the telestial rock.
Do you realize they only get to be administering angels? That's what they do?
Is that all they're going to do for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year?
Well, you made it sound like people in heaven are
10 billion years of an eternity.
I don't know. All I know is that there are opportunities, or I guess doors that you can open in this hall, right? And the more doors that I have the key to open so that I have choices, I'm happier. And I know that in the celestial kingdom and the terrestrial kingdom, you don't have the key to as many doors. And I want the keys to everything so that I can pick.
What if you want a party hardy?
Then you pick that.
Okay, I can see that. Now,
I mean, he's not going to make you go somewhere you don't want to go. You're going to go where you feel comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable chilling with the celestial kingdom dudes, then
Boring people.
he doesn't want you to be there. He wants to make you happy.
Okay. Now, here's the other question.
This is so not what we were going to talk about.
I know, but it's fun. Here's the other question. Here's the other question. Okay. So, I have, according to Mormon doctrine...
Oh, please. Don't even bring up... Oh, you're not talking about the book.
No.
Oh, gosh.
No.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the book Mormon doctrine. That's
okay.
Yeah. No, according to Mormon doctrine...
Which is not doctrine, by the way.
I have...
McConkie.
Yes. I have seen the light, right? I knew that it was true. I believed it on my mission. I served a mission. I tried to convert people. I bore my testimony. I got baptized. I got married in the temple. I've done all these things that are required of me. I have been given all these beautiful opportunities to accept and enjoy all the blessings and benefits of the gospel. I've rejected those. Mm-hmm. I've rejected those. Am I an apostate? Am I going to hell?
Depends on what you define as hell.
Am I going to outer darkness with the sons of perdition?
Absolutely not. No.
Where am I going?
I'm not sure. I personally don't believe that the 3 degrees of glory are the only degrees of glory. And I also personally believe that hell is a physical and spiritual separation from God. Mm-hmm. And in order to be able to even go to a kingdom of glory, because you have not accepted the Savior to pay the consequences of choices.
I accepted the Savior.
You don't now.
No, I don't, but I did. I reject him now.
No, I'm saying currently in the afterlife, which is why I'm like, hey, maybe I'll be able to change your mind in the afterlife, you know? Mm-hmm. When it comes time for Judgment Day, whenever that is, 1 billion years away, I don't know. Because our time is so much shorter than eternity. We can't even figure out time.
But yet.
Okay, but anyways.
Well,
the hell that you will go through is being separated from God, having to pay your own consequences of those choices. That's going to be hell to the point of where you finally, if you're going to go to a glory, you finally will call upon the Savior and you will say, okay, I can't do this myself.
Okay. So, now first of all...
Can we talk about what we were going to talk about?
No, I'm having fun.
Oh my gosh, you're no longer allowed to drink that stuff when we do podcasts.
This is awesome. Okay, so first of all, heaven is in your eyes.
Is that a song?
I think so. I see heaven in your eyes. Okay, so like I die, right? Mm-hmm. I die, and I'm a degenerate old reprobate when I die. Like I'm just a grumpy old man who doesn't see good in life. Smoke, I drink, I swear.
Don't forget the beer belly.
I have a beer belly.
I really want that.
So I die, right? And I go to spirit prison, which is where all of us wicked, unbaptized people go.
Which is not a bad place.
You
just don't get to chill with the Savior.
And then I have these missionary dudes walk up to me and say, yo, Brother Winters.
And you're all, been there, done that, move on.
Is that what I say?
Well, I'm thinking that's what you'll say.
But all of a sudden I go to heaven and I'm like, holy crap, what I was taught was true, was right. Wouldn't I be inclined to accept it and say, yeah, baby, sign me up?
But the problem is there's consequences to that.
There's consequences?
In order to be able to accept it, you're going to have to go through hell, quote unquote.
And I'm going to regret this Jameson that I just drank.
I don't know. All I know is that pain that a person suffers of coming to their senses and realizing a sin, because I've been there, is so intense, you would do anything to have somebody take it away. And if and when you become to that point and feel that and realize that, you'll wish you hadn't had to go through it.
So
that you could have avoided it.
Does that make you feel empathy for me then?
Yes.
The pain that I'm going to feel?
Yes. And I don't want you to have to feel that. And I've used to pray about that a lot. Like, please, why is he choosing this? It's going to hurt so bad. I know how bad it hurts.
So when you see me right now kind of carrying on and getting a little carried away, having fun with this concept, like, I mean, I'm smiling. I think it's kind of funny. There's got to be a part of you that's dying inside. I'm
on tears. I'm holding back tears right now because I'm trying to make it through a podcast without crying. It can't be a cry fest every time. Yeah, it hurts.
It does?
It does.
Well, I'm sorry that it hurts.
I want to spare you any pain. I want you to have all opportunity at your disposal. I want to be with you in the afterlife, and I want to be with you in the afterlife in a place where I have everything that there is to be offered. And if I'm in a different place, I will be denied some of that. And I know what it feels like to be a little taste, to be in his presence. And now that I know what that feels like, I don't think I could go back.
Okay. That's fair.
All I know, though, is when I prayed for you, I felt like God said, you think you love him? I love him so much more, and I'm going to be as merciful as the laws of the universe allow me to be. So,
okay.
Don't know how things are going to end up, but I'm hoping it's with you in a seriously awesome glory.
It'll be awesome. We'll be having sex in the Telestial Kingdom.
Celestial.
Okay. So
the topic was supposed to be on supporting each other in activities that we find difficult and disagreeing upon.
Like doing podcasts together.
Like apparently talking about this in podcasts. But no, something recently happened. We have a program in our church once a year. The kids from age 2 to 11 will take one of the meetings and perform songs.
And sacrament meeting.
And say things for about, I don't know, it's probably about 40 minutes long.
To an insider, it's an opportunity for them to bear their testimony. To me, it's an opportunity for the leadership to indoctrinate the children.
Brainwash, yes.
I won't say brainwash.
You won't say brainwash?
I'll just say indoctrinate.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like that.
He's whispering off to the side to my daughter. Unfair.
Which, by the way,
I call foul.
Our daughter has an essay she wants to read. We may do that this episode, or we may do that the next episode, depending on what we get to.
On time.
We'll probably record the next episode tonight, but
if you haven't had another drink.
No, I'm
fine. So yeah, anyway, it meant a lot to our boys to have Neal go and watch this, and because one of the boys actually had a solo in one of the songs, and he was pretty proud about that, and
I'm trying to be like Jesus.
Wanted Dad to come and support him and smile at him, and I was trying to put myself in your shoes, like a good therapist says, right?
Yep.
And realizing how hard that would be. And not knowing if it was something you'd be able to do without it being so damaging that, it's too high of a price to pay in your relationship here at home. And so anyway, I was on edge about that, not sure what to do, and thought maybe going to practice would be better than actually going on Sunday to the service. So
service would have been painful.
Yeah, I mean, you said you barely made it through the practice.
I had to leave. We made it for the last part of the first run through, and then I made it through the first part of the second and last run through. But after I heard them sing about how awesome it was that people were going to drown during Noah's time, I had to. I got upset and left shortly thereafter.
I think the word you used was genocide.
That is the word that I used, and I still use.
Yeah. So obviously, I see that differently. I have told my kids genocide is wrong, even if you're God, and I don't see that as genocide.
How do you not see it as genocide?
Did you not hear my explanation of the kids?
I think I did, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. I'm sure you're going to say I'm doing mental gymnastics to get around it. So what's the point of me sharing it? I don't get it.
We don't need to talk about that. But yes, when I heard them singing about how awesome genocide is as long as God's behind it, I got mad and left shortly thereafter.
Yeah. And you sent me a couple texts.
Yes, I did.
Which were kind. They weren't like, I hate you, you bitch. It wasn't like that.
No, I said I love you, you bitch.
Well, you didn't say you loved me.
Oh.
So tell me, what did you do to be able to do that? What did you tell yourself? What was your thought process?
Well, I watched the performance and was doing okay, but then they sang the last song, which was I Know That God Lives or something like that, and that started rubbing me the wrong way. But I
beforehand, how much dread did you have?
I tried not to think about it. I just went.
You just went.
Yeah, and then got there and listened to the last few songs and started getting annoyed. And then they started the second run through, and listened to what the kids were saying and the songs they were singing, and it started bothering me a lot.
Yeah.
It gets pretty painful, and then I heard "Follow the Prophet," which I think is like that is as close to brainwashing key and lyrics as you can possibly get. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a minor key, and it just pounds into the kids' heads what the expectation of the church is for them. So that got to me, and then Noah genocide verse came up, and that's when I about lost it.
Hey, so if any of you out there are wondering why
Noah was a prophet. People got killed because of him.
Why I don't consider it genocide, I will put it on my Facebook. Okay. Anyway, so I told you, bring some electronics if you have to. Play electronics.
Oh, well, what I did is I watched through our son singing his solo, and a little bit after that, and I got on my electronics, played my electronics, sent up a complaint to the interwebs, and then went and got some coffee.
Instead of to the gods, to the interwebs.
Yes. Then I went and got some coffee and coffee cake. And then went back to the church when it was over and grabbed the kids and came home. I did have a donut provided by the bishopric.
Good. I
figured they're going to indoctrinate my kids. I'm going to have a donut.
Oh, they so owe you at least a donut.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was really impressed, and it meant a lot to me, and I know it meant a lot to his sons.
To whose son? My sons?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I know that was really hard for you, so thank you.
It was hard for me.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
So there are times that each of us do things to try to enter each other's world and support each other's world that we're uncomfortable with or may even anger us.
So your turn to share.
For instance, I'm not as bothered as you are. But, you know, I wanted to support Neal, and he loves going to these wine tasting events where they share the history of certain wines and all the ins and outs of where the garden is and how it's made and all of that.
It's not a garden.
It's not a garden.
It's an orchard.
Whatever it's called.
Vineyard. Not orchard, vineyard.
I knew that. So, you know, I don't drink. I don't believe in drinking. I think wine stinks. But I went with him a few times and had a good time in his company and tried to focus on that and entertain myself during the parts that I didn't care about, you know. And I was happy to do that because I love my husband and I want to spend time with him.
However,
there are other times that we can't do that for each other when our boundaries are just such that we're like, okay, this is going to be so damaging to me and our relationship and the relationship with my kids. I need to not participate.
So have you had those with me? What have...
If I had, I don't want to talk about it right now on air. But,
Okay.
But yeah, so, I mean, that's where we try to figure out how to accommodate our differences, how to work through the boundaries, I guess, that we put up. Like, what...
Respecting each other's boundaries.
Do you ask yourself questions before you try to figure out if you're going to be able to handle something? You know, because, like, you'll go to a Halloween party or something.
I have ideas, but I try not to think about it too much before I go. And then I go and I see investigators there, and then I get mad.
Yeah. So your way of dealing is avoidance.
At all costs.
And then go through it and
get pissed.
Be so angry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's healthy method. I think that's healthy coping mechanism.
Yeah.
I think any therapist who's listening to this will write in and agree with me that the best way to deal with a difficult situation is to pretend it's not going to happen before it happens, then go through it, get really angry while it happens, and then forget about it immediately afterwards.
Find peace later. Yeah. Well, what are the steps? I mean, there's denial and anger, and so you focus on those two.
Yeah, I think those are the most healthy. I think those are the most healthy emotions.
Right. Okay.
Do you think people might know that I'm being a little bit sarcastic?
If they don't now, they will. Because
I just said I'm being sarcastic.
That is your personality.
Yeah.
So for me, when there are things I don't want to go to or something happens, let me give you a for instance.
Okay.
Something happened at the last get-together. You have a group that you meet with.
The Hickory Humanist Alliance.
They're awesome.
Woo-hoo!
I love those people. They're super nice, and they do good things in society. That's what they're atheists, and they're people who wanted to accomplish good and have a family and a friendship of people like you would in a church, which is a subject we'll talk about later, I'm sure.
Sure.
Family and stuff. The social part of religion. And so they meet together once a week on Sundays, and sometimes they do fun things, and sometimes they do activities where they'll go to trivia night at the bar, and if they win, they donate the gift cards to different places. Love these people. Think they're wonderful.
However,
there is no however.
I just keep waiting for you to say however.
I went with you to a super fun song contest.
Yes.
What is it? Singing? It was like Lincoln
Idol.
Lincoln Idol. Yeah.
Yep.
Super fun. Very amazed with the small town talent. I was shocked. And one of my friends sang in there. Rachel, she was amazing. Holy cow. And so I had so much fun, and they were talking about how the place that they were performing it at used to be a church.
Yes, it was a Baptist church.
Built in like the 1800s.
Late 1800s,
It was a beautiful building. And
not designed for the acoustics that we were experiencing there.
No.
But that's beside the point. That's not that important.
Because it was a church. But, so they were joking around, and I was fine. Everything was fine. And then somebody made a comment, yeah, a lot of people have a problem with that, those religious people. But hey, I have no problem with the church being turned into something useful. Ha ha. And like, that's funny. And so I like tried to tell myself, oh, he was just making a funny. But deep down I knew many of these people just think religion is not only not useful, but harmful and silly. And I almost started to feel like I was being mocked. But you know me, I just I don't know. I tell myself stories of why they didn't mean it that way, even if they did, to make myself feel better.
You live in denial too.
Yes, so much. It works so well. And it's what my mother called giving people the benefit of the doubt. So
here's the concept, though. Maybe he doesn't want to be given the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he wants you to take it at face value.
Which he may, but I don't want to see it that way.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna.
Does that make you feel better about him as a person, or make you feel better about how you interact with him?
I feel nothing about any of that. I think he's super fun, and it's not going to change anything. It just reminded me how sometimes I feel looked down on and looked at like I'm stupid or one of those crazies that believe in all sorts of things that are hoaxes,
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like being viewed that way. Nobody does.
That's fair. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. What else? Anything else? We're at almost 50 minutes. I mean, we can...
Why say more than what we've said?
I think this has been a good conversation. I'm getting tired.
It's been interesting.
It's been very interesting. I've enjoyed it.
So, next time we'll have Maya read her essay, and we'll talk to... What is it? Neva?
Eva.
Next time, we'll have Ava read...
Eva.
It's Ava. Right? Okay, so next time we will have
Ava. Yes?
Read her essay. Are you going to throw in anything else there?
No, we have another podcast in the bag where we talked to another one of our daughters. That's going to be coming up shortly too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
She's decided there's stuff in the church she doesn't agree with, so she's foregoing the go to church thing on Sunday.
Yep.
But yeah, so anyway, we would like to take some time to talk to our kids about how the dynamic between mom and dad and religion and not religion and things changing have affected them and continues to affect them. So that will be next time. And if anybody has ideas on how to support each other in activities that you disagree on, go to our webpage on
www.unequally-yoked
And you can also reach us on Facebook separately. Naomi's would be...
You're just search for Naomi Winters or Neal Winters, and we've got the Unequally Yoked.
And we got that's simple.
Symbol or album art on as our profile picture.
Yeah. But I would love to get your guys' ideas about, things that you think might help, things that have helped you, things that you wish were happening, so that we can all get ideas. And how do you resolve when you just can't find a way to support each other in certain activities?
And what do you do when you're recording a podcast with your husband who is slightly tipsy? How do you handle that situation?
And he keeps changing the subject, and it's like, what do I do?
What do I do? Okay.
Anyway, so that's that.
All right.
Hope you keep listening to us.
Keep on keeping on, and have a great day.